Sai Ram, loving Sai Rams to all. We're hoping that with Swami's divine grace, you're all doing well and are healthy and are also following all the recommendations that have been put forth by your local and state health departments. Remember that when you're out in public, please wear your mask as well as try to follow the 6 feet social distancing. Thank you to everyone who has already completed the devotional survey, and people who are still on the fence about it. I would encourage all to please go ahead and complete it. We're going to extend it for a few more days so we may receive all your inputs. We want to tailor all these, the devotional program that we offer, to your liking so that we are able to meet the devotional weekly needs that you would have. Our speaker today is very special, and he's talking about a topic which is very close to Swami's heart. Life is a game. Play it. Dr. Jayant Puttappa is a Sai alumnus who hails from Chicago area. Dr. Puttappa joined the Sri Sathya Sai Institute in 1982. He was the first batch of integrated bachelor and master's program instituted by Bhagwan. He completed his undergraduate in physics in 1985 and his master's in 1987. He worked as a lecturer for 3 years in the Department of Physics before he joined the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore for his PhD. Upon completion of his doctorate in physics, he worked as a professor in Singapore. He actively participated in Sai activities in Singapore. Since the 2000s, he has been here in the United States. Besides his academic accomplishments, Jayant Puttappa was an excellent sportsperson, including being the captain of the volleyball team at the Sri Sathya Sai Institute. He actively contributes to the Sai Students Alumni blog, where the wisdom and teachings of Swami are explained with real-life stories and delightful humor. Currently, He's the study circle coordinator at Chicago SSIO Center for the past 2 years. Please welcome him. Welcoming him, introducing him, as well as moderating the session is Dr. Balu Karanam, our very own Region 3 President. Sairam, we're looking forward to your talk. Thank you.
Sairam, on behalf of Region 3, Sai family, as well as the Sai families who are watching from other regions and other countries, welcome to you, Jayant. It looked like yesterday you taught us physics in Puttaparthi, and we are sitting this side of the world, and we're again spending time about Swami and thinking about our education there. Thanking you again for accepting our invitation and being with us today for this satsang, because we started this as soon as the COVID took over, and we went online, and we're hearing wonderful speakers from all over US, all over the world also. Thank you again for coming to our satsang. So starting, I would like to know how exactly your family's journey started to Swami, and when did it start and how did it start?
Sairam Balasubramaniam. It's a very nice, quick introduction. And then firstly, you were mentioned that I was your teacher. That's great. And it's well connected. This is going to be a great platform where we are interacting with each other, we are reflecting, we are thinking of Swami, we are the ones as alumni, as members, as devotees, we are getting back into this network, and nothing is going to stop us from, interacting and, let us say, inspiring each other during these tough times. Yes, that's basically where all things have fallen, but we never give up, because Swami always, shows some direction. And that is the thing that we always look forward for, his grace that always emanates. And it's so lovely to have, me on the show, and it becomes pretty much very self, I would say liberating, in a sense that nothing is stopping us. And with that small thank you note for you, your members, and all those staff who have been trying to work on this, I would really appreciate. And I would, as you said, this forum is something that everybody likes to hear. And we as alumni adds a little bit more icing on that beautiful cake that Swami used to cut during his last few years on birthday celebrations. With that small note, it all started very way back, of course, when I was a little kid. And there has been some sort of a memory loss or some sort of a memory morphing. So I will try to get back way up there. But there is something that I really definitely want to say, that I have to thank my father, who turned out to be a silent devotee of Bhagwan. So before his marriage, when he was in his late 20s, somewhere in 1960s, one of his elderly mentor friends took him to Puttaparthi and said, no, there is somebody by name Sai Baba. You can just go. He said, Guru, and people worship him. It wasn't too far and too bad, but that was in Bangalore. And those days, to go to Puttaparthi from Bangalore is almost half a day. And, life was almost no rush. People had to wait, get into a bus, change buses 3 times, and, finally reach Puttaparthi. And my father was a young man. He looked at Swami. And what he narrated to me after that was one of the beautiful stories, which I forgot. And then I recollected, and then I forgot, and I recollected. And that's a beautiful story where on the very first day, and they were there only for 2 days. The very first day, Swami came, walked around, and there was this beautiful sand. Swami just walked away. And my father was in the late 20s, just folded arms, and that was the end of the day. Next day, which was the second day, Swami looked at my father and said, come. It was like he didn't even know what it was. And then it was an interview, and Swami gave an interview. It was sounded that he was not even, when he told this story, it didn't seem to be so electrifying as what it is now to me. because those days there was the same Prashant Nilayam, a small interview room, and Swami talked to him and told him what he has to do. And at the end of it, there's not much I can recollect, but the only thing I can recollect is Swami gave him a photograph, which was on his table. He gives photographs. Those days he used to give photographs and vibhuti packets. And Swami gave to my father and said, yeah, take this and keep it in your altar and worship. And my father even didn't open that roll because he didn't know what it was. Swami must have thought it must be Mahavishnu or Adishesha or probably Lakshmi, because that's probably what everybody would want to say, okay, God, the Guru has given Lakshmi, so maybe Lakshmi will come in. And it just seemed to be that he took that photograph, went all the way back to Bangalore, and then opened it up. It was the song photograph of Swami. Now, of course, that was expected as far as I'm concerned. And this photo was in the amber color or the yellow color, which is basically never, again, I think Swami wears those typical yellow colored or orchard color dress. It's more like a sannyasi color dress, like the Shirdi Sai Baba color dress. Very rarely after 80s, I'm thinking it was going to be more like these flaming red and orange colors. So Swami took this, gave this photographs, and as usual, my dad, in a casual sense, okay, let me get it framed. Here's somebody, and with due respect, let me do what he tells. And he kept this in the altar. And something that always happens that we never know. And he kept just praying, and it was all forgotten. It went on, and he was a silent devotee, and not a part-time devotee. He was silent. So something just pushed down, and then he was in his job, then got married, and then we were born. And something that I used to see this photograph ever since I remember, maybe first standard or second standard, I don't even remember. It was there, and we knew it was Sai Baba, and we used to do some sort of bhajans in our house, just dad, mom, and 3 kids, bhajans, whatever that meant. We used to pray, and everybody in the neighborhood used to come and say, oh, they are the Sai Baba devotees. Like, I didn't even know what that meant, but it seemed to be that's one of the things. That was the starting point of how I would say my journey was because of my father. And my mother was very supportive. She was the typical Indian homemaker who just embraced the culture, the philosophy, the beliefs of my dad. And from that, it was started how this was the first starting seed of Bhagwan sowing into our family. An unexpected interview through my father. And ever since, I kind of became one of those, into those folds, not knowing about what Sai Baba was, but we always heard that my father used to tell, oh, he can do this, he can do that, he can do much more like the Lord Vishnu, he can, and we were all having our own imaginative world, which probably is not unrealistic, and nor is it a fairy tale. We kind of believe that this is how a person of a nature of Sai Baba, Sri Satya Sai Baba, can do, and that's how we started. That was our first introduction of how I would say my father journeyed, held me into this fold of knowing who Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba was. And in that small community, there were so many of those people, and especially in my school when I used to go, there's Sai Baba. It was a nice, and not necessarily like what the way they were commenting. I don't want to tell anything more, but it was on a fact, an acceptance that we took, we will do what we believe. And my father made that commitment, almost saying that, why are you worried about what you eat, what you pray, what you wear? You are your own identity, and this is what our identity is. He told that in such subtle sense, it kind of imbibes in me even today, that if you are having some sort of a love or a worship or a so strong ritual to something, why do you worry about what the people are going to say around you? They may laugh at you, they may ridicule you. You got to stand and have that steadfastness, not jumping, oh, maybe this is not the right God. I need to go to another God who might give me. Maybe I should forget about Shiva, because Shiva is not having all the ornaments, it must be Vishnu. But Vishnu is really not the one. We have to pray for Lakshmi because that's all that we like, the prosperity to kind of befall on us, and that's where it is. But my father said, "Why do you want to even run after anyone? This is your God, go for it." And somewhere this growing up, I didn't know the difference between Guru and God, and I accepted it. That's my small introduction.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Nice to hear that. Like, it reminds Swami says, without my will, nobody can come to Parthi. Without his will, he doesn't come to any home. So he's the one who came to your home as a photograph and started, your journey. And one more thing I remember when you said about Lakshmi, Swami beautifully explained once how to get Lakshmi. Swami was telling to all the students in the portico, he says, Lakshmi sits at the lotus feet of Vishnu. If you go for the lotus feet of Vishnu, you get Lakshmi. Swami used to say that. So these are the beautiful things comes up. So that brings you into college. If I remember, 1982, you joined Satsa Institute of Higher Learning. Then, I know you are very active sports person, and see, actually today the talk also we set it in such a way that we want to bring Swami's sport supporting side, which very, very few knew, like, how the starting of our, inter-campus games, how Swami was so encouraging and coming to all the games and, watching, with so much, his mission going on about the colleges, hospitals, all that, but he had time to come and watch volleyball, basketball game kind of thing. And how Swami encouraged this to become a annual sports day, very big event in Parthi in every January. So let me not tell everything from my side. I want to hear from you about this life is a game, play it kind of, your discussion. And I know you are a very good sports person and had a lot of interactions with Swami in that side also. Please tell us all your student day experiences. I know in the short time it is difficult to condense all that love and the experiences you had. Go, please tell us.
Sure. I mean, I like the topic. Life is a game, play it, and that's basically what it is. So what I've done is basically, have some slide, because after my initiation into this, we used to go to Parthi. So let me have my first slide. If you have the PowerPoint ready with it, so I'll kind of walk you through this journey, because there are a few things that I really want to mention. That the first part of it is the first part of it. I think you're in the slide. Yeah, let's go for that first one.
Okay, this.
Okay, yeah.
I think we are here right now. Maybe we can move to the next one.
No, let's keep it here, because this is where I want to give a quick update here on this beautiful Swami in young Swami in yellow robe, which is basically what I just told. And then I went into my first visit was actually in 7th grade. I saw it. Subsequently, we went a couple of times, and this is where when I was in my 11th grade. I'm just joining in. When I was in my 11th grade, I was sitting there. I got part namaskar. This is almost such a rare event. Swami never just kind of go and give part namaskar to all these devotees sitting on the sand. They used to say, don't touch. And there was the sevadar who were not. Swami stood in front of me. I took part namaskar. I took like 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and I kind of touched those beautiful feet. That's when I kind of felt that there was this something soft and something strange and something very strong and powerful on this. And at that time, I used to really look at the students there with sort of such herd of white and white coming in and sitting. And that's something I almost felt that, one day, if at all I'm lucky, I can get into this school. And my father said, it is not just luck. You got to be really smart. And you got to have all your punyas and all your samskaras all lined up. And I said, how would I do that? I don't know what my past is. No, that's why I'm saying you start praying and you work hard. And that's kind of, becoming more difficult for me to even realize that I can go into that direction. But then, my high school, and I wrote my entrance exam. There are things that, my father was saying, you try this in engineering, try medical, I can get to this, there. Something always told me, I think I like Puttaparthi, but that is so challenging that you need to be 1 in 1,000 and you got to be that caliber. And at the same time, my father was also saying, that it is not just simply that you go and join, you got to wake up early, you got to do all these prayers and studies. Well, to keep that short, I joined Parthi in 1982. I can have my next slide where I'm going to really jump into the story part of it. So I was there as the first batch of integrated master's program. That's an integrated master program. And Swami, how we can see this evolution, I think Balu, you can also, if you want to chime in, you can say you're from the Ishwaram High School, which is a school how Swami started, whether it's from a seed into a small flower and then this bigger university. And the Sri Sathya Sai University came out for that very first year. And it was an integrated master's program. I was always surprised how even Swami knew how to use the word integrated. I thought maybe he had smart minds like the vice chancellor giving this. And later I also heard that people were saying, let us call it Sai University, Sai Baba University, Sri Sathya Sai University. And Swami said, yeah, you can put my name, but call it higher learning. I don't want it to be lower learning. I don't want it to be university like this university. Swami named that. I don't want to name those, that university and that name, that this God's name. We call it Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. It is really high. Okay, and then that was the name given. And then we were all like, okay, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. It means something so different for me. And it's so spiritual meaning and so metamorphical. That you kind of try to look at it and saying the situation is like, what are we doing here? What is this higher learning? And that was my thing. The whole program changed. It was not a yearly program because as part of the Andhra University, it became a semester system. It became world-class system. It was like the American model. Think of it. In those days in 1980s, Swami already started doing this. It was, the other sets were the Indian Institute of Technologies were having the semester system, or the IIMs were just getting into it. Semester system was not well known into those other universities. Swami said semester system for 6 months and trained them so well. The other aspect was all around development was emphasized. This is something that Swami had always mentioned. And if you see that, even today, Balu, if you go back and look at your transcripts, the first is your emblem, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. The middle, the center of it, it says, gives you the extracurricular activities. Attendance into morning prayer or what we call it, Suprabhat. Attendance for yoga, attendance for sports, attendance for social service. That was the middle. Then the bottom of it was all the education. What is your physics grade and math grade? And like, that is all for a living. The middle part was the integrated curriculum for life. How beautifully Swami, I just can't imagine sitting here after about 30 years going back, I can only see this. Can somebody even think of saying, that's more important? Today, we as parents say, forget about those extracurricular, forget about all those bhajans every day, forget about all those extracurricular. Your education is more, that is the one that's going to take you. But some emphasize the middle of that whole transcript is always the extracurricular activity. Isn't that right? Well, what do you say, right? It is exactly what I was being part of first integrated, which is simply bringing in that strong message. Swami said, education is for life. It's not a begging bowl. It may not mean much, and in the context, it might all be mixed up because we are saying, oh, maybe I could have done better, I could have been this, but that emphasis is always that centerpiece of all-round development. And finally, at the bottom, which holds all this, is your degrees, your marks, your curriculum, whether it's an outstanding grade or an A grade. Some really didn't bother, or a B grade. Swami is to the same time very admonished and said, what grade did he get? What are you doing? You're just wasting your time. And boys used to just cry, Swami, and no, you have to do this. You got to play, you got to emphasize yourself on this. Your parents have entrusted your, not education, but your whole entire life to me, to Swami, and you're just doing only what you think will please Swami. But everything is important in that. And that's that small 8 by 11 piece of paper meant so much, with the center being our curricular activities. All right. And the very first thing I was surprised is first day in class, first day of teaching, first day of homework. It's not like, okay, today let me talk to you, and the professors or lecturers don't come and say, okay, let us start today, let us introduce ourselves, we'll take our class from tomorrow or next week. Nothing. With the first 10 minutes, they get on attendance and say, okay, who are you? Where are you from? How are you doing? Are you eating in the hostel? What is it? It's all good. Then there's class. The whiteboard, the chalk on the, it was a blackboard those days, or the green board, it was light green in color. I'm sorry, I moved my hand too fast. And then it's it, the first day of class and the homework. And people were all into it. And the best part of it is being a integrated program, we were all sitting in our desk and studying. Well, the early system, they're kind of relaxed. And the best part is our integrated system was more discipline oriented. So the morning darshans, there were students who just kind of go to darshan, morning darshan, and then go to the university. Or says no. Swami said, no more morning darshans. You come after your school. First is your Suprabhatam, do your prayer there. The formless God. Suprabhatam, go play in the ground, eat breakfast, go to school, eat lunch, and evening, come get darshan. What a beautiful methodology is exactly what I learned in my childhood, where my father used to say, go it. And I think, Balu, even you might have been done, and many of ours say, go, finish all this, you can come home in the evening, wash your feet, and now start studying, right? So something on the same discipline that we were saying first day in class. So there were no more darshans, except on the weekend, Saturday morning and Sundays we used to go, which was really good. And those days, in those 82 to 85, Swami used to just walk around in those beautiful Saturday morning in front of all our students. We were all just a small 150 students sitting in that veranda, with even the school, primary school coming later, maybe a year later. And then Swami used to just walk through all this, and then we used to move around like pieces of chess coins around, and Swami used to play the game and come suddenly take a U-turn, and all of us jump around and he used to just enjoy, and the devotees used to enjoy this kind of Swami walking amongst us. So that's basically it. And the part now is where you say life is a game, play it is sports. And that's basically another thing which Swami has said. It was compulsory games 3 times a week, which means even that evening bhajans were cut short. And 3 times a week, which is typically, we would only go over twice then. So twice plus Sundays, plus Saturday and Sunday, we used to have darshan. Even our darshan reduced, and Swami was saying, I want you boys to play. That was the beauty, where we set compulsory games, and we were playing, and we were the only group, out of those integrated first year bachelors, all our other seniors in the non-semester system used to go for the darshan, and we used to set, we were put into groups like alternate groups, small groups of 10 or 15 people. 15, we used to play soccer. So 8 and 8 or 7 and 7. And we used to play soccer, we sweat, kind of, that was a day where Swami was just getting us into this groove of saying, probably making us feel that this form of Swami is very good and important, but it's also the formless, which is always a discipline that you need to take and inculcate in yourself. And there was another thing, part of the integrated was alternate Sundays. We had to go in front of the institute, pull the grass, cut the thorns, could remove it. It was, I tell you, it was something that I did not personally like it or enjoy it. But over those few days, and as I grew up, I knew that educational excuse me, Sarah, that educational institute is my alma mater. It is promoting that life into me, right? The life breath. So we got to clean that. We got to clean our own uh, facilities. And every Sunday, alternate Sunday, we used to go and call it social service. We used to do it. And it is to come back after another week. Again, we got to clean it. And that's exactly what Swami taught us, that kind of a discipline in life. Something that we used to do laundry, we used to roll chapatis, we used to clean our own premise. And that is some beauty that we do it. Today we can hire somebody else and give it and say, go do it. But that was some sort of a Gurukula system where we used to tell, and that gurus are not simply Vyasa or anybody, but the guru himself was God, and he was the one who used to give us that kind of insight and that beauty of telling us what needs to be done in our life. Maybe we did not understand that. Maybe I was also grudging and saying, wow, every Sunday this sort of thing was too much for me to handle, using a spade. And the thing is, it kind of repeats it. But then you see that value of getting in this discipline. So with that was my early students' days. Just to tell you that I got my Par Namaskar first time when I was sitting outside in the 11th grade. And when I joined, for 2 years, Swami did not even notice that I was there. He didn't even know I existed. I tried to get Par Namaskar, but this is where I got a little upset. Swami, before I joined, you gave Par Namaskar. And after I joined, it is nothing. You're totally ignoring, like I don't even exist. Man, what's the point for me to be here? It's the kind of growing pangs of, saying, did I make a mistake? Did I come here for just education? Why am I not getting this relationship with Swami? And I could feel that because Swami used to talk to others. And he used to talk. When he talked, I could see the love flowing from Swami's eyes into that kid and that child or the student, and reciprocally. I just wanted that. I was yearning. And that's probably where it is. But these activities were only, helping me get into this whole form of what Swami is trying to bring out of every student in his university. And I would only say that I was one of the blessed student and blessed that I could be part of that. And I had a natural tendency to be a good sports person, maybe my height, and I probably was good at that. And my, stamina and also my quick reflexes made me a very good sports person. And that's probably what made me come here. And I can continue. I don't want to make this only a monologue, but if you have any questions.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like when I think about your deep earning for Swami increased when he was not looking at you. It happens to all the students. It happens in different times, different ways. He knows how to play with each one. So once one devotee asked wonderful question to Swami. He asked Swami, how do we know that we have devotion towards you? For which Swami told in Telugu, which I translate, Swami said, Meeku Tivra Paritapamu Unnapudu Bhakti Unnattu Lekka. Basically saying that if you have the deep yearning towards me, remember that is you have devotion. See, that's what he creates, the deep yearning, so that we get onto that path of devotion. Oh, I don't want to stop you. Go ahead with the, your all the experiences.
Right. And okay, as I told you, one of the things I told you, Swami was, yes, interested in academics, but above all, it's all about sports. Here is one beautiful photograph. Each photograph tells a story. And there were so many students like me who were all enthusiastic of sports. And remember one thing, that the ground that you see, they're all with small stones. You see, it is such a rocky, Puttaparthi itself is that part of Rayalaseema and that kind of dry, barren area where you see those hillocks at the back. That's all rocky, and all that rocks and small rocks and pebbles are actually the ground. You just can't run around with barefoot. As bad as that, let me put it. But then boys went in to clean it. We made our own volleyball match, pitches, basketball pitches. There was nothing. We were the one. And what drove us to do that? It is Swami. Because we used to say, if we do this, Swami will come. It's like if we organize something in the hostel, Swami will come. So people used to do this, and everybody had their own role, however small. Some there were boys who would just simply say, "If I make a greeting card so beautiful, Swami will open it and say, oh, Manchidi." That's one word. Manchidi is all that we needed, right? So because I had that a little bit of a talent, and there were so many seniors with me. I just had a recent discussion. So many, they were all so enthusiastic, and they were. I would like to name all of them: Srinivas, Ashokan, and Prabal Mal, and you can go on. So I can list all those wonderful people who were part of this team, who were building this foundation. And so I would like to use the word that Swami is part of this, the promoter, the inspirer, but these students who were my senior were actually interested in this. And here you see Swami is hoisting a flag. This is a rare picture, and Swami never let these students down. He used to come, hoist a flag, and walk away. You see that this is a story that I would like to tell if I have time, where Swami wanted boys to do just more than simply being students for an academic career. And it's more, he didn't want them not to do it, he wanted them to do it. And this is where he used to put this. He used to hoist a flag, and we used to salute, we used to march past, and Swami used to feel so much like a proud mother seeing his young kids doing something great. We were not world class or Olympians, but he used to make us feel like that. And that's the beauty of it. He used to make us feel we were the best in the world. That's not like, I'm coming here, okay, you guys, let's do it. Every student who is to be part of this play the game, life is a game. He used to kind of feel that he's doing it for Swami, and Swami is actually witnessing this act. So this is one of those hoisting of flag, very rare. Then Swami has done many of such later on. This is in the year 82, 83. And these are the things that we as boys used to put, without spending too much money and, extravaganza. We used to simply find some flower pots, we put some desks and tables. We used to take some broken logs, put it, arrange it, and say, will this be settled enough? And will this happen? And remember, it's not just the money. Puttaparthi is an isolated village. To get the nearest meaningful thing would be Bangalore, or Anandapur, or Dharmavaram, which is, it's about, those days, it's about a 2 hours drive with buses flying twice a day, maybe. And going to Bangalore would have been almost a whole day experience. So it was more of that lack of facilities, let me use that word, that we used to be promoting our own engineering skills, our own knowledge base, and using our own raw tools to make such beautiful decorations. And all we wanted is, Swami says, manchi pani. All right. So with that, I'll go to the next slide. And if you have anything, please don't hesitate to check me. So basically, the sports were going on very well, and things were working very fine. And slowly, we started having the inter-campus games. And Swami said, "See, you boys are playing only amongst yourself." And Swami used to go again to Vrindavan, and Swami used to witness there. Swami used to go to Anandpur. They had their own games. And finally, it all kind of said how Swami was, bringing us together. Swami started the inter-campus games. And this is one of those beautiful inter-campus games, and there was no issue. I just want to bring this change how Swami has gotten. So we were playing in shots. So you see this photograph. You see the first photograph on the left. The third person from the right is me with folded hands. And at the bottom, I'm right in the front of the first leftmost. So that's me here. And Swami is looking at me, and the person in different color, blue color and V-neck, is our physical director named Sri Venkateshan, one of the sweetest man. And he was here in Chicago about a couple of years ago, and then we met him. A very nice person. He retired, and he still keeps texting me. He's a very nice person here, and all these are young students, and this is where Swami was encouraging. Things were good. Life is a game. Play it, and we all were playing the soccer. Swami is watching. And the thing is, whenever Swami comes, so many devotees come, and everybody, they're all, and this is a well, I would say, arranged function, sports meet. Swami wanted to watch this soccer. The best part here is there were so many devotees. So on the either side, the one side was men, the other side was ladies. And we were young men who suddenly forgot Swami was sitting. We forgot completely what's in the background. We started kicking the ball and running, and Swami was enjoying it. Then comes the new part of the game. This is called a life-changing game. The ball went to the ladies' side. And all of us were just standing and watching. There wasn't ladies going and picking the ball and throwing the ball to us. Actually, it went somewhere. So what happened was one of the boys climbed that small steps and went towards the ball to pick the ball. And the problem was this, there were two situations, okay? Both I am going to narrate, that the shots and going up there, and Swami did not like boys in shorts and the ladies and that interaction. And that's when Swami was a bit upset. And yes, it was a drama he played, and he played it very well, that he was very upset with all of us and wanted us not to wear these kind of shorts and play these games anymore. The second part of the story, which was also very important, that a few months later on this, I became a little more popular with humility. I would say I used to get more direct chances with Bhagwan, which simply means Swami used to talk to me. And I got one time where I was with Bhagwan in the interview room soon after this game, and Swami said, in a different tone, he told me in a different tone, he said, look, if you wear shorts and you fall, your whole leg bruises, right? And when you fall, you don't typically fall in your hand, but it's mainly on your legs, and all your small stones will come and, bruise it, and that's where you get so much of bleeding. And that's not nice. So you should wear pants, because pants will protect you from all this. It was a nice way of telling. And the third aspect is another student told me later in a different context, at the same time, in a different context, and Swami told him, do you know why all those policemen and all those people used to wear knickers that were going all the way up to the knees? That is because they don't get injured. And if it goes more than the knees, they cannot run. Okay, so you know all this? And that is why if you wear a proper attire, you will not be injured. And from then, the metamorphosis of wearing shorts suddenly ended after 1985. Prior to 1985, Swami used to come, it was a great interaction, those things are going on. But after 1985, we're all saying, okay, now we need to wear something more that protects us, and that is also not disgusting, or what I would use the word, the terminology is sort of unpleasant for people to watch, because they want to watch the sports and not the kind of fashion going around in this world. And with that, we have the place where we started wearing track pants. So that's basically, I can go to the next slide, but I have some photos. But again, if you have any thoughts that you want to interact, ask questions, I'll be very happy to participate, or I will just continue going. And this is basically where it is the next year. This is where it's a beautiful situation where we had inter-campus games already started previous year. And this time it was where we had inter-campus games between Puttaparthi boys and the Vrindavan boys. It was a beautiful thing, and Swami used to come and watch. And Swami was very particular, he wanted to watch this this volleyball game. All right. And this is a beauty here, and I will tell you I have a video clipping and later, but I will show you this. This is such a beautiful thing that Swami was so proud and didn't worry about which team won or lost, right? So if you see at the back corner, third from right, it's me. It was me standing there, and I was a volleyball captain. And apparently, being a little with due humility, being a little popular, Swami, and I was a volleyball captain, and I earned it. All right, it's not like Swami told, "Go, you be the volleyball captain." I earned it, and Swami was wanted to watch this game, and it was a game that is raining, and we were thinking that Swami is not going to come, and because it is going to rain, we started the game half an hour early. And you can see that little bit of rainwater on Swami's robe, and how proudly he's standing and singing. And the best part of this game was that we started 2 games, and the first 2 games, my team won, which is Puttaparthi. And then as soon as Swami came, then we played. We again won the 3rd game, so best of 5. So which means we already won that tournament. It was 3 games, and then we all decided, let's play one more, because after all, Swami is there, we don't want to lose this chance. And that 4th game, Vrindavan won. Okay, so Vrindavan won. So it's best of 3, 4, so 4 games. So we won all 3, and then finally it became dark, and Swami said, "Okay, what happened? Who won? Who won?" And Swami is so proud that both teams won, because he saw the last 2, first party, and then he's like. So first he saw the last game was with Vrindavan, so he thought Vrindavan won, and then he went and took pictures with Vrindavan students. Then he asked, who won actually? Because he knows that, or he was just pretending that he doesn't know. He was like, who won? Then he said, Party boys. And then he briskly walked towards our side and took this picture, right? So the blue team is Puttaparthi, and of course you'll also have everyone standing, coming into this group, and then we took a picture. And Swami was like so proudly taking all our the pictures with us. And this is where I say, I got those pictures with God, right? And this is probably where it is, where I say, life is a game. I don't know why and how, but I'm flowing into this. I didn't want to think of any more or any different God. It was this, my father initiated. And I may not have understood then, but when I went in, I said, okay, I'm going to take it. And I accepted this fact of believing that here is somebody who has always been guiding us. And our main thing is not just this academic excellence, but also the sports. And that's the beauty part of it, there, where we were bringing in this concept. And Swami was so thrilled with this volleyball match. And I'll give you the video because it was raining. It was raining, and we started touring, and we said, okay, if it's raining, Swami is not going to come. And that was our inferior mentality of thinking, yeah, it's going to rain, and we'll have to finish the game and then go and tell Swami we played. Because after all, inter-campus, we got to finish the games, we got to finish, and then Swami, there will be a prize distribution, and prize distribution ceremony and all sorts. So now how these games and sports were building up, you see that? That prior it was a few isolated games, and Swami used to come here and there, and Swami used to come once in a while to the basketball game. And we used to play those games, and I don't have those pictures. I could have put it, a lot of those. And then Swami said, okay, who? And the best part of those basketball game is we play for like about 45 minutes or 1 hour. And the last one, we make sure that both teams are equal. And Swami said, very good. That is how the game should be. Like, there are no winners, there are no losers, but we all play till the end, and there's total balance, and then good. And there was this game where Swami was so impressed that it was 3 matches, we won. At the same time, even Vrindavan won. Because if you really ask me, that time, the 4th game, we actually gave it to Vrindavan, so that, there is some spirit of sportsmanship, and that seemed to have come from all of us. And I'd like to say, okay, that was sportsmanship. Here, Vrindavan team also becomes happy, and they also played, and it's all like something that made us, because of the presence of Swami, to give that last game to the Vrindavan students, and they won. And you see that Swami went and was happy that Vrindavan team won, and then he came back to say, okay, you also won, very good, and but in overall we won, and that's basically what it is. The game, how Swami was more interested in not the winning and losing, the fight, the play, the bringing in, and remember this ground, there are a few pictures, this was all made by us. And what we did was those days after hours of darshan or early mornings, when we had a big roller. A roller is like a concrete block that rolls. We level the ground and then roll it. 4 or 5 people manually pull it. Not 4, maybe it was 10 people. Roll it up and made it flat. Pour water, and then that was the ground that we built or we made it ourselves, right? And that was a place. There are a lot of beautiful, interesting stories. There was a place where we had, actually somewhere there we had these seniors had put a basketball hoops. They brought all the basketball hoops and then they made a nice ground. Again, not concrete, just the flat, dusty ground. And it was all good. Swami watched those games and all beautifully. Everything was good. The interesting part is in 1985, the 60th birthday, the president had to come, right? You have dignitaries. And the best thing is unfortunately, they had to take out those because that's a security reason. The helicopter should be coming on the ground was actually started leveled. A lot of good things here leveled because Swami had a vision at that time. Some of us will never know. And he got the US military people to clean that ground. There's a beautiful story I like to tell about this. This is very nice that after the soccer match when the ground was, and people falling and all that stuff. And I told Swami, in a nice way. So, there's only one table tennis. This ground also, Swami, is full of small stones. It doesn't matter, it is very, very difficult to play on that stuff. And because Swami was a bit upset then that boys are not going and playing. Only a few boys are going and playing. What are other boys doing? Why are they not going? They're all sleeping after Supravatam and so on. And then at that time I said, Swami, the ground is not good. Swami, they are scared to fall and they fall and they get injured and all that. And Swami very nicely, I was sitting there, I still remember, he pulled his robe up and showed a corner of the robe. And he told, this is a very emotional thing. He said, sure, can you see this? Swami can buy robes every day if he wants new robes. You see, it's stone. I didn't throw it, I got it stitched. You see, Swami never does anything for himself when he put the robe on. Every time Swami can say, Mana Pililo, Mana Pililo. I do it for my students. And then I felt so guilty. I said, why did I even ask this? This was so strange that I even had to mention this. But in that when you're interacting with Swami, you can say what you want, and then you feel that he's your friend, philosopher, your mom or your dad, and then you just tell it. And then when he suddenly distances himself with such philosophical difference, you totally get up and say, why did I even talk? But believe me, and it's a true story, within 2 days, there was this Mahadevan, this General Mahadevan, his command got about 4 bulldozers and leveled that ground within a week. It was clean and right. I'm kind of saying that what I felt, I told. I wasn't guilty, but I felt unnecessarily guilty when Swami showed it. But that was it's a great message. Even today I'm thinking that he showed that I'm not doing everything. I can wear new robes, but I'm getting stitched. That's what I'm doing. And think of every penny he's putting back to the society. I was just a small person here. He said, Manapila means my student means every pie he's putting back to the society. What are we doing, honestly? We are taking and we are putting it in our tummy. How much are we giving out for service? Right? We always think about me. I have to keep money because I need for my children's education. I need this. But Swami, every pie is putting it back. And he's getting it. So this is some beautiful thing that I wanted to tell. I just deviated, but I wanted to tell you, but this was the beauty of Swami in the sports field. That he got that level. And the part where he was doing this, and those basketball hoops were taken out, boys, didn't know what to do. After all, some of them young blood love to play, right? It's about our teenage kids now. They prefer more playing. Now they prefer more video game. That's a different thing. But that was our passion that we want to play. So these seniors went and dug up and put this hoops behind the kitchen, behind the hostel kitchen. So there, you could play, and that seemed to have been away, and there wasn't any problem. And then we were all sitting in the veranda, and the best Swami came to know that the basketball hoops were taken out. He said, "Oh, basketball hoops, what can Swami do? Big people are coming." The way Swami said, big people are coming, like big dignitaries are coming, we're all thinking, who can be bigger than Swami? That is the beauty. We're all like, why are it? Oh, but that feeling that he gave, that he's his mom, he's our mom, and he's making us feel that, those big people are coming, we have to do for them. And, but he could relate that our pain in himself by that telling that beautiful way of saying big people are coming, we have to do it. And it's all for Swami's 60th birthday. There's so many beautiful stories about 60th birthday, but I want to keep it on the sports thing. And one more small thing about that sports, I really want to say how wrong we were, because this is the best part. Because in that whole playground, there was a road, tarmac, asphalt road across the entire field perimeter. Okay, we as young boys are saying, what a waste of money. Who is going to run on that sports track? Is that a sports track? Just put some road there and think. The same thing is Swami had given for putting cricket side screens. Side screens are in a cricket field. We put 2 side screens and then we can play very well. I don't know why Swami did all this. And that is of no use. Will a truck or any tractor even come there? That was no use. But every year, all our sports meet, the barricade on motorcycle is to go on that road. Every year, and including the 60th birthday, Swami was to go around in that beautiful car and devotees to sit around. The military jeeps, when president comes, is to go around. That was not a waste. That was by design. Swami thought of it even before he knew what is happening. I don't know if a side screen would have made a difference. Maybe now it is there, but at that time, Swami built it, and then I can only say, yes, he built that for a purpose and a reason to use it later. We never knew it. And that's all part of this game of life that I was part of, and part of that game as a player. Sometimes I used to get upset because if the referee blows wrong, but I don't know. The referee, as Swami as a referee, blows and says, no, foul. And I complain, but what's the foul? I played right? No. And that's exactly what it is. That in the kind of relationship and the reactions with Swami, with the students in sports is so profound that every time I always sit and listen and say, and reflect back and say, he meant so much for us. It could be yoga, it could be bhajans, it could be services, any act. It's so beautifully that piece to sit back and look at it, at how this event became an yearly event every year. I have some initial pictures, so a few more pictures, but these are the things that became an event. So here I am in this picture as a volleyball captain. I got these accolades, and we can go to the next slide. And there were those boys. There were those boys who were indirectly supporting sports. They were not sports persons. Some of them were, but when their games they were not so prominent. So we gave everybody a chance, or in other words, everybody got, by the cohesiveness of the students, a chance to be somebody in the sports field. It could be your gymnast. If you're good in gymnastics, because you're flexible, you are a champ. If you're not in sports, you're part of something that is here. Here are these beautiful, well-dressed students. And as you can see, there were, actually white shirt, white pant, right? Those days, as I told you, to get any accessories was very difficult to go get it from Bangalore. You look at the same white shirt, white pant, people were putting the collars inverted. They got some paper hats that looked like cloth. They were not made. They were not bought from a shop. They made it. They got those ropes. They all did everything from all that was available in Puttaparthi. And they all looked so professional. And one of the things I really want to tell is towards the end, the corner is one person by name Prabal. He was senior to me. Yeah. And he was the one who was so enthusiastic in doing these kind of things. So, it's not about a person being a sports person, but he was involved in the sportsmanship. And that is basically what I would like to say, the sportsmanship of getting everybody, giving everyone a rare glimpse that they can sit back and look at it now after about 30 years and say, hey, I was in that picture. And that's beautiful. And that is basically where we are talking of support boys. So you see that how Swami is to enthusiastically come and stand and take pictures with groups like this. Okay, there was no way, it was not like pleading him, Swami, can I come? He used to just come, okay, boys, this. He should take. And he had that patience. He had that love. And we had that reverence for that. For that simple opportunity. I'll go to the next slide, please. This is another very interesting thing, as we know that there was this band. Just as we have music, the band was also part of the sports meet. The Swami used to be, the first part of the band was actually for the 60th birthday. Swami wanted a procession, and the procession was not quite professional. Swami could have paid lakhs of rupees to get professional band and then march. That was not it. Swami did not want to get professional volleyball players and say, let's play it here. Swami did not get national gymnast or sports person prior to our thing. There was a sports game, cricket, in 1991, I think, somewhere in that time. But that was once. But Swami had that enthusiasm and that rapport to say, okay, let me see how my voice can do. And this was the band instruments, which earlier was, what we bought from Bangalore. This is an upgraded version. You can say that Maynard Ferguson and his crew. Maynard Ferguson was one of a Canadian trumpet player who came to Bhagwan and was part of this organization. He had sent all these beautiful band instruments, and you see the golden color or the bronze color. And Swami patiently listened. And Swami didn't say, oh, sing only bhajans. Swami said, play tunes, marching. And we used to play like, Sare jahan se acha, Hindustanta hamara. That was the kind of songs that we used to play, the national patriotic marching tunes. And that is basically, and we slowly added one or two bhajans also, and we could do this. The Swami was not particular anyways, they only sing bhajans, anything that was in the marching, the rhythm, and he's asking what was the song. We say Swami, the slow march, that is Dr. Jivago. Dr. Jivago, okay, like, he used to be part of all that activity, and he used to come and monitor our progress at every time and then say, okay, it is good. And actually it was terrible in the very first. But what can go wrong in the presence of Swami, right? If you, in the 60th birthday, you are in marching, doing the procession, you're dressed up, you're taking Swami in front, you're leading the procession, and all eyes and ears are on Swami. There cannot be anything that can go wrong. Musical flow on its own. The instruments were doing all its job on its own. People were like waiting, and Swami was a, Jyoti, and we were all just that supporting ambers and the flying sparks coming out. And that people will look at it like a sparkler, right? It was just coming out, and everybody was just looking at that beautiful person, Swami, and because of his beauty, we were also looking charming and beautiful. The music was coming forth. And this is exactly what reminds me of one of the beautiful philosophy of Swami. When Swami once asked, how many of you love me? And everybody raised, Swami, 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 love. And Swami said, your love is nourished by my love. You don't have that love. It is because of me. I am the sun, you are the mirror. You're just reflecting my love. And that is exactly what it is. The talent we have is hardly anything. It is his presence that bring in such beautiful emphasis on what we can do and what we achieve. And as I told Swami, could have got anybody, any musical group for the band, but he just chose his own students. And he loved and enjoyed every moment of the students, the boys, the sports team, the volleyball, the football, the soccer, the flag hoisting. Like with every year, it was not like anything, what I've said, he would watch with same renewed enthusiasm, same love. And that's what made things so good. So can I have my next slide? This marching. Yeah, this is the beauty here is the intercampus. Slowly, I got in this picture. I didn't want to go too much into this, but to say these are the ladies. So soon, as much as Swami got the boys playing all this, these are the intercampus games for the Anandpur, the primary school, and all that. So basically, it became another event where Swami with the same enthusiasm and saying that the boys and girls are not any different. Previously, Swami used to go to Vrindavan to watch. Swami used to go to Anandpur. But then it became a centralized place where the Anandpur ladies and the primary school all used to come and participate. And then it became one of those events to bring in the unison, the unity, and the conformity of all our beliefs and attitude to serve Swami. And you see that in the back, all that hillock, and it was painted Sri Sathya Sai Hillview Stadium. Prior to that, it was written by chalk. Few people standing and dangerously standing on those ledges with the support of the shoulder of somebody. They wrote with a big chalk Hillview Stadium, right? And that stuck on. And then slowly, as you can see later, years later, there were these statues of Hanuman and other statues that came in. So that's the beauty of how these things grew up. And what you're seeing is a beautiful stadium here. It's a stadium. Prior to this, in 83, 84, it was a barren, and where we had a volleyball match, there was this Ishwaram High School where you actually did your graduation. Behind the Ishwaram High School, we handmade a stadium, a podium, you can call it. We made it, we put all those blocks. We had all our professors and Swamis to sit on the ground and then watch and wave for 1 hour almost every evening. And we used to put sand and sand and those rocks and make a, more like an amphitheater at that place as a stage. And that stage had meaning. And later on it was put concrete, and then we had many dramas and activities going on in that. So that was all made by students and some of the professors who also were in that. And that is how the beauty came in, saying that, okay, this was done. Later, it was all built by these masonries and engineers. But I would say that there was this great opportunity for us that we were part of this progress. We were part of this cleaning. We were part of this growth for our own growth and building this all about sports and about playing well and getting into this and inculcating the sportsman spirit. So Puttaparthi size universe is not simply meditation and Vedas. It was also that, but it was also academics, and it was also sports. It was everything, or being in the sense of an all-rounded and integral activity. And I am proud to say I was the first batch of integrated program. I think if you have any questions, anything that you want to add, or there's a nice video. I'd like to, before we start the video, but let's see, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
I'll give, before you turn on this, you can get ready to run. I'll give you a beautiful story about this. This happened on January 13, 1986. Again, this is a volleyball game. I'm still on my same volleyball match. It was raining, as I told you. Swami is not going to come on. It's going to rain. But so we started early, and Swami came. Whether it's rain or shine, Swami shows up. And there is some beautiful, it's a 2 minutes video. I'll give you some nice background. You can see me in my blue dress, getting blessings from Bhagwan. And if the audio is clear, you can Swami asking, what game is it in all Telugu? And it is, boys say, volleyball, Swami, volleyball. Volley, ball, there's a sort of a Telugu pun in that. It also means tail. So you put your, and Swami said, okay, tug your tail. It also means Vali is your, Sugriva, Vali, and they are the characters of your Ramayana. And obviously, Swami is very proud of his monkeys. And there was this sort of an undertone when I was playing the game. So, Sugriva is going to win this time. And Sugriva hit that. Oh, look at that monkey. He jumped higher. And I was like, these boys were enjoying and we were playing. Unfortunately, I was not part of enjoying Swami's comments, but at least I'm glad that I made Swami comment on us, which is probably also another blessing. We always don't want to be called ourselves as one of the great saints. It's okay if Swami calls us Kotis. It's okay. I'm taking it as a pride. It's a great pride, Swami, because I was so happy that we made Swami laugh, smile, clap, enjoy every minute. And because it was this. There's one more beautiful thing. As you keep saying, Swami was making comments, telling people, hey, it's raining, get inside the shamiana. I don't know what made us. We actually built this. We built this shamiana. Okay, there's a shamiana, it's a cover, so that Swami can sit and it doesn't. At that time, I felt it's more like a symbolic. We put Swami's chair. Swami, Swami's not going to come. If he comes, it's fine, but it's going to rain. It's not going to come. But we put a shamiana. We put some nice decoration around the field, and we have we have some coverings, and all that looks so good. So Swami was, adjusting. There were people. You can see there's a video photographer. He covered the camera with the kerchief, and then here all standing, and Swami was enjoying every bit of it. And this is basically where Swami is making his comment. We are so happy. And if you want to play, you can play this video, and then we can watch this. So I can give you some commentary of what is. So you can, Balasubramanian, you can turn on the video.
Om Sri Sai Ram. My humble pranam. Pranams at the lotus feet. We express our gratitude to Bhagwan for having blessed us this afternoon with his presence at the volleyball match between the Vrindavan campus and the Prashanti Nilayam campus. Incidentally, the two teams are vying for the Nayak Memorial Championship Trophy. Campus. Arun Dharishwar, Vice Captain.
And just let us know when you want us to start. Give us like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sure.
Balu, you're on mute. Balu, you're on mute if you're talking.
Okay, Jayant, I think we are also very close to time. How much is the time?
So now you're seeing this picture, this photograph of me receiving the trophy because I won the volleyball match, and saw me, while giving the trophy, held my hand behind the trophy gently and said, "Manchi pani," which in American term, good job. That's all. I don't know what good job I did, but that was the love of Swami for his students. It's not about me, or any student who just felt that yearning and that support. With that ends, I'm going to say, my sportsman and my education in Puttaparthi. After that, I continued for being there for 3 years as a lecturer. I taught Balasubramaniam some physics and took some practical class. Then after that, I moved out in 1991 to Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, to pursue my PhD in physics. I got the blessings of Swami, and it was all going fine. So, yes,
Thank you, Jayant. It is wonderful. I was almost in the ground when you are showing all the pictures, and how you were cleaning that ground. I remember taking those thorny, like round thorny bushes. We used to remove. So it's beautiful. You took us back to those days of student days, and yes, Swami said you did Manchipani. I know you have done a lot of good works. I still remember when we all came to IASC, Indian Institute of Science. You were 3 of you in physics. That is brother Raghavendra Prasad, Krishna Mohan, and yourself in physics, and brother Amarendra was in chemistry. You are elders guiding us, seniors guiding us. I still remember you are helping me to write my, CV. That is first time when I wrote my CV, I wrote Vamsi Sairam on it. I still remember you telling me how to be professional, how to write your CV. I know that's a lot of good Manchipani you have done. I will ask you to, just narrate your IASC, that Swami's blessing, and
that's the best
I know
part,
we
right?
need another session with you. We'll come back to you, I can say. With I'll
But I remember
over to
I
you.
was a teacher, and the first thing as a teacher I was kind of admonished you and said, "Why do you write Om Shri Sai Ram with loving pronouns at Sri Satya Sai at the lotus feet of Bhagavan? My name is K. Balasubramaniam," and then I kind of sat with you for 2 hours. I think about 1 or 2 hours, and said, "Look, this is not what you should write. Your CV should be about you, and make it professional. We need to give this to a professor." And I kind of changed. Yeah, I remember that. That was a very good incident. Of course, I did not feel bad that I admonished you, because I was at that time a teacher of yours. So, and again, that helped, I believe, right? So that helped. And today you're here, and then narrating this beautiful incident. Yeah, it took me 5 years, being at the Institute of Science, finishing my PhD, and then you were there coming once in a while. Then there's something very strange that used to come and actually narrate to me, Puttaparthi, say, in Indian Institute of Science, you say, "I'm from Indupur, they wanted peanut shells. Can you believe that Indian Institute of Science wanted peanut shells?" So I went to Indupur and got from my farm all those peanut shells and gave, because they're doing research there. I was like, huh?
Neem shell.
Oh, neem shells. I'm sorry, neem shells. Yeah, neem shells, because they were doing some some research of extracting from neem shells. Yeah, and then many times he used to come and tell me, and we used to go around and put up in Vrindavan, somewhere in the restaurant, and we used to talk of Swami and all that. And then he used to come and tell, "Sir," then I asked, "Why are you calling me sir?" "No, you're my sir." "Sir, can you imagine a boy from Indupur can go and do a PhD?" Then I said, "If you're with Swami, you can do anything." And you were, so wonderful person. You went to that, the UB group, and then did a very good work. And I have to say, we look at us, we are not simply the ordinary folks out there. We are all qualified PhDs from Institute of Science, and you were a postdoc in Johns Hopkins University for 6-7 years. It's not commendable. This is not like we are just, okay, Swami could have made us saints and Veda chanters with all that color of dress we were, but he preferred us to be just normal human beings, outstanding in our own professions, and a total all-rounders. And that is something that today I'm sitting here and then saying, this can go for another session maybe, I don't know, but it's all that this is his game, and I caught a chance to play in his game. So that's about, I'd like to add that the inculcation, the knowledge that I got from Swami was not so much for a living, but for a life, that today I'm sitting here with all the world COVID-19 going out, I can still say, Swami, thank you for bringing this group together. Thank you for all this organization. Thank you for having my, if I may still call him my student, Bal Subramanya, to Karnam, basically. So to be part of this, and I really thank everybody to, give me this opportunity for narrating not about myself, but about who Bhagwan is and how I played this game. With that, I'm going to say Sai Ram, but Bal Subramanya, it's up to you.
Thank you, Jayant, for a wonderful satsang, and you took us like a lot of the different facet of Swami. Basically he's a multifaceted God, and we could see through your talk that how Swami was encouraging sports and all-rounder development and the integrated personality development in his education. As Swami beautifully says, Sadgunamulu Sadbuddhi Satyanirti Bhakti Kramasikshana Kartavya Palanambu Nirpunade Vidya. I still remember he used to say that is the Vidya, the education has to give all these qualities, all the all-rounder qualities should be bestowed. That is the Vidya he gave at Puttaparthi. We all need to be thankful to Swami for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai.
Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. 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 Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे 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 सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।
देवादिदेवा विना रूपासुरमुनिवन्दिता देवादिदेवा विनायका मङ्गलचरणा पाहि गजानना मङ्गलचरणा पाहि गजानना श्रीचरणं भवदुःखहरणं श्रीचरणं भवदुःखहरणं देवादिदेवा देवादिदेवा जय देवादिदेवा मंगलचरणा पाहि गजानना हे शुभदायका विघ्नविनाशका श्रीचरणं भवदुःखहरणं श्रीचरणं
जय पंढरीनाथ पांडुरंगा पुंडलिक वरदा जय पंढरीनाथ जय पंढरीनाथ पांडुरंगा पुंडलिक वरदा जय पंढरीनाथ
हृदय स्पन्दना साई वन्दना हृदय स्पन्दना साई वन्दना गानलोल प्रभु साई गानलोल प्रभु साई बाजत ताल रंग वीणा बाजत ताल मृदंग वीणा मुरलिया मधुरा वाद्य मंजीरा मुरलिया मधुरा वाद्य मंजीरा आनंद मंगल साई आनंद मंगल साई हृदय स्पन्दना साई वन्दना गानलोल प्रभु साई बाजत ताल मृदंग वीणा मुरलिया मधुरा वाद्य मंजीरा आनंद मंगल आनंद मंगल हृदय स्पन्दना साई वन्दना
बाबा आओ मेरे कीर्तन में बाबा आओ मेरे कीर्तन में बाबा
hamba ku kanyang kwentos, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. Siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. Siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba, hamba, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Hamba, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Hamba, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. Siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos, siya hamba ku kanyang kwentos. बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी। डमरू बजा गूंज उठाओ नमः शिवाय गूंज उठाओ नमः शिवाय बोलो बोलो सब बोलो नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो सब बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय झूठ जटावे गंगा धारी त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजावे डम 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 डमरू बजा गूंज उठाओ नमः शिवाय ओम 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 नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो सत्य बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्ति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे वदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् अशीमवहु वहिष्ठेमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टाहमय शतशाय वहिष्ठायशि नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि श्मा इस्राएल अदोनाय एलोहेनु अदोनाय एहाद अदोनाय एहाद Adonai Echad. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति 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 परमं पवित्रं भावाविभूति परमं विचित्रं लीलाविभूति आत्मैष्टार्थमोक्ष
Sai Ram, thought for the week. You must resist all challenges and play the game of life and come victorious. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a game, play it. Life is love, enjoy it. Life is a dream, realize it. Do not be discouraged by obstacles. Never give up your efforts, nor even slacken. If you get confused, the fuse of heart will go. You have doubt only when you do not know the truth. Once you know the truth, that you are Atma, there is no room for doubt at all. All truth is contained in the essence of Prema Tattva, or divine love. It is the essence of all essences. It is Premasara. There is no room for doubt in this. Through love, you can resist any challenge. Seeing good, hearing good, talking good, thinking good, and being good is the best way of realizing divinity. Strengthen your faith. One with doubt can never progress. No one with faith in God has ever come to ruin. You should consider that whatever happens to you is for your own good and is a divine gift. If you have this full faith, there is no room for fear in your life. Swami, Satya Sai Speaks, Volume 31.